welcome back to my channel. I have my drink that all the ice has melted. It is just Hawaiian Punch. This is what's getting me through the days. But I asked you like a couple weeks ago to leave me some questions on Instagram regarding this pregnancy, like everything you guys want to know. By the way, we're not going to judge my nails. I've just been so, like, my morning sickness has just been so bad. Like, it's literally all day sickness, and I don't want to go sit at the nail salon right now. Anyway, so I asked you guys to ask me anything that you wanted to know about this pregnancy, like any question that you had. And so I have so many. You guys asked some pretty good questions. So we're just going to jump into it. So the first one is, how far along are you? I found out July 4th as well. So my week switch over on Friday. So I am like 9 weeks and, what is that? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 9 weeks and 4 days. 9 weeks and 4 days. So yes, I did find out July 4th that evening. Okay, let's just jump into that story, because a lot of people, not a lot, but a couple of you commented, weren't you drinking on July 4th? Yes, I was. I had no idea that I was pregnant. I found out that I was pregnant that night, like before we went to fireworks. So we came home from the cabin, and it's not like I was drinking all day. I think I had maybe 2 in the afternoon, and then obviously we stopped drinking because we went home that night. But yeah, I found out that night, July 4th night. Another big question, when are you due? So right now I am due March 11th, and I say right now because my period just got all out of whack. I'm sweating, by the way, because I had to turn off all my fans. My period got all out of whack. Fun fact, this actually happened with Weston as well, kind of. But my period got all out of whack, and so they are basing it off of ultrasound. So when we went into ultrasound, baby was measuring 6 weeks and 4 days or 3 days. And so they based it off of that, like when my due date is, and we were just a little confused on the size and the timing of the baby. Like, it's a long story, I'll get into it, but we were a little confused. So I do have another ultrasound this Thursday to make sure baby is growing properly. But we did have a private ultrasound on Saturday, and it did show that baby was growing properly and right on track. So this ultrasound coming up is just for the doctors to see, like, okay, baby's growing, how baby should be growing. Okay, were you wanting a 5th baby? So I'm gonna get into the story time real quick. So we were actually content with 4 kids. Like, we were content. We had talked about if we were to have another baby, it would be later down the road, like not right now. And so how this all happened, because there was a couple questions on that too. Was this planned? Was not planned? Were we wanting this? It just kind of happened out of nowhere. I am sweating. But okay, so in June, so I got my period at the beginning of May, sometime in May, normal period. So then come June, I was supposed to get my period. I can't remember, like the 1st or 2nd week. I have it on my calendar, but I don't want to look. This is what I mean by, like, dates were all a little bit mixed up, and this might be some TMI to some of you. I'm sorry, but we're all grown adults here. My camera's going in and out. So my period was like 2 days away, TMI, whatever, unprotected happened, and we're just like, well, your period's gonna be here. And my periods are usually like spot on the dot, like usually accurate with my tracker. Kind of unprotected a little bit before my period. Well, that weekend I sprained both of my ankles. If you guys remember, I sprained both of my ankles. One was a high ankle sprain, the other was a regular ankle sprain, and everything just like kind of like stressed me out. And so when I did look at my calendar, I realized that my period was late. I chalked it up to be, I just sprained both my ankles. Honestly, I had been really stressed out, a lot of anxiety. I know I kind of talked about it a little bit on like the vlogs and my Instagram, but like dieting, but like not really dieting and like working out, just trying to like eat better and like cut out carbs. So like my diet was changing. Working out a little bit more, and so I was like, you know what, it's just so much stress, my period's probably not here. because of those reasons. And I knew I wasn't pregnant at that point because it was literally like 4 or 5 days before that there was Unprotected. And so I was like, okay, well, my period's just late, I'm just stressed out. And so then that week went by of like my ankle sprain where it's just like really bad. It was before we realized that it was a high ankle sprain, before we went back into urgent care, like the orthopedic urgent care, and it was just a really bad week. It literally didn't even cross my mind like how late my period actually was. And so then the following week after that, I believe the week of like June 20th, 18th, like somewhere in there, like the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, whatever. We were trying to figure this out with the doctor as well. Somewhere in there, started feeling a little bit better. You know what I'm talking about. And I remember, hey, girl to girl talk. I remember there was Unprotected that week. Not even thinking, like both me and Gage were like, oh, your period's just a couple days late, not realizing that it was like 2 weeks late. Not like comprehending that my period's actually like 2 weeks late, and just thinking it was only a couple days late. And there was some Unprotected in there again, and I remember clear as day, both me and my husband were like, yeah, like that should be the last time, like the last time that it's like Unprotected. And when I say Unprotected, I mean like usually I'm not on birth control and we don't use condoms. And so yeah, so when I say Unprotected, I mean there was no pull-out method. It was just straight, you know, sorry TMI, but hey, I'm pregnant. Like I obviously didn't just become pregnant on my own. Anyway, so that's what I mean by Unprotected. It was full no pull-out method. Usually we just do the pull-out method. There was no pull-out method here. And I remember me and my husband both said, okay, like that was the last time, we're going back to like the pull-out method. That happened that week. Weeks then went by and I still hadn't got my period, but for some reason it just wasn't on my mind. Like in my head, it was still just a couple days, like a week late. Like there was just so much going on between the amount of pain I was in, not being able to walk, having to put the boot on, and then the kid's birthday party. There was just so much stress. Like I just didn't even realize like, hey, your period is now like 3 weeks late. And so then we had the kid's birthday party. So the birthday party came, and I would say that would probably be like my first symptom, but I didn't even think of it as that. I just thought of it as like, I am super freaking tired. Was after the birthday party, I was so extremely tired, like so tired. Like I just wanted to lay down, close my eyes. Like I did not want to do anything, but woke up the next day and felt fine. The weeks, I don't even know how long until July 4th from the birthday party, probably like a week went on. And towards the end of the week, started noticing that my breasts were getting really tender, and realizing like, oh, this is a little bit different, like a little sensitive, a little fuller. And I told Gage, hey, my period's coming. Like, yay, finally my period's coming. Like that's obviously a period symptom. And every day went by, still no period. We then went up to the cabin. It was 4th of July weekend. I didn't really have any symptoms besides the sore breast. I went to bed Friday night and my breasts were a little sore, but when I woke up on Saturday, my breasts were really full and really tender. And I remember turning to Gage and I said, feel like my breasts are full. Like this is strange, like something's going on. And he's like, you're pregnant. And I said, no, I think my period's just coming. And he's like, yeah, but those are really full. And I said, yeah, I think my period's coming. And what's crazy is this might just be like a how I found out I was pregnant video, because this is a very long story. What's crazy was, and you can call me a weirdo, a weird conspiracy, I don't even know if it's conspiracy, I don't even know. I was on TikTok and out of nowhere on my For You page, this like medium, psychic medium or whatever popped up. And usually I don't watch those, but I watched it and it said, I can't remember the beginning of it, but it said that there was big life changes going to be coming your way, and your sign of this would be butterflies. And I looked at Gage and I said, huh, a butterfly. Like, butterflies would be our sign that like big life changes were gonna be coming soon. A couple days before we went to the cabin, there was, it's not a butterfly, but there was this moth, but it was so beautiful. The amount of like design on it, I thought it was a butterfly. Gage said it wasn't. But it was just so beautiful. It was big, it was beautiful. It was literally sitting on our trees by the door. Like, it would not fly away. I thought it was dead. It would not fly away. We could go up to it. We could almost touch it. Took pictures of it. It stayed there for a good hour. It did not move. And so I told Gage, I said, hey, remember that one on our tree? And then we went outside. There was butterflies flying out the cabin. I was like, oh, okay, we're in the middle of the woods. That's probably why. We then go out on the boat to the sandbar. And what do you see flying at the sandbar? Usually you wouldn't see a butterfly. There was a butterfly flying around right by the boat. I'm like, I looked at Gage and said, he goes, see, it's probably a sign that you're pregnant. I said, it's probably just a sign that something big is gonna change soon. I didn't think pregnant. So we then went to bed, woke up Sunday, 4th of July, told Gage again, I said my boobs are really full in the morning. We saw more butterflies at the cabin. Like butterflies, that is our sign for our baby now, is butterflies, because we see butterflies everywhere. And we'll always remember that TikTok video in the morning saying that the sign is a butterfly and big life changes are coming. And so yeah, I saw butterflies everywhere. Went back to the lake for 4th of July. There was butterflies. Like a butterfly. I shouldn't say butterflies. It wasn't like a butterfly garden. But yeah, a butterfly. And we decided to go home that night. And on our way home from the cabin, we were just kind of discussing with like each other. And I was like, you know, the only symptom I really have is my breast being tender. Like, I don't really feel tired or crabby, or like, you know, I'm not like breaking out or anything, which was like a main symptom with the boys. I can't really remember Maya. I just know with Maya, my boobs were huge. Just kind of said, okay, well, you know what? Before we get home, he stopped, ran into CVS, grabbed a test, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take it. And if it's negative, then my period's coming. If it's positive, then it's positive. But I told him, I said, it's probably negative. Got home, started unloading the car. I had to pee really bad. Oh, that's another sign that I didn't realize, that obviously is probably because I was pregnant. We went to Ulta that Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, before finding out I was pregnant, the kids and I. And usually I do not use public bathrooms. Like, I will hold it until I get home. Like, I do not like public restrooms. I had to go pee so bad, which is kind of unusual for me, that I literally had to pull over at some random store, drag all 4 of my kids out of the car, literally pee waddle, walk to the store inside, shove all my kids into a stall, and go pee. And I was like, huh, that's weird. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But now I'm like, huh, it's probably because you're pregnant. And so, got home, unpacked stuff. I had to pee. When I tell you, I was not expecting that test to be positive so dang quickly. Yeah, that's what happened. I literally, so I don't like peeing on the stick. Like, I'd rather like dip it. Because, yeah. Anyways, I feel like I'm not gonna get into it. I like to dip it. So what I did was I peed into a cup. I dipped it for the amount of time you're supposed to dip it for. I set it down on the counter. By the time I was done wiping, pulling my pants up, leaned over to look at the test, the thing was still going across. It didn't even reach the control line. Like, that line on first response popped up. Instantly popped up. Instantly. I literally started bawling because it's not what I was expecting. Like, that, to me, when I saw how like dark that line was, like, I knew I'd been pregnant, not for a while, but it wasn't just like a couple days. Like, my HCG was high if it's showing up before the control line. And so I showed Gage, and he was just like, yeah, I knew it. We told the kids right away because I was just so emotional, because like, it honestly is not what I expected. Honestly, it's just not what I expected it to be. And so I took the other one, and of course the other one came up instantly positive. Yeah, that's how I found out. And so I was still in disbelief that for the following, like, I'd say week, I was still taking tests because I have bad anxiety, and so I was just like, no, that's wrong. And so I'd take another test and be like, it's probably gonna come back negative, and it didn't. Or I took so many tests, and then at one point, like, this is how like messed up my anxiety mind is. I have never had a dye stealer. So I had taken a first response, and my HCG was so high that it all went to the positive line. Like, that control line was so faint, and I remember bawling to Gage because at this point it had been like a week, and we were already kind of getting used to the idea of like, okay, I'm pregnant. And I just started crying to Gage because I was like, this is a faulty test, and I think that my HCG is going down and that something's wrong with the baby. And so I took the other first response that was in the box, and it did the exact same thing. So I was like, it's probably the box. I have a faulty box. Like, it's literally like the positive line was so dark and the control line was so light. Like, I thought like the lines like somehow got flipped around, and I was losing HCG, or I was losing the baby, and that my levels were going down. And so I had Gage go up to CVS and get a test that wasn't like a first response, that was like the plus, and then in a separate window was the control line. And sure enough, all of the dye went to that plus, and there was hardly any in the control line. So then I'm like, whoa, why is my HCG so high? Because I've never had that. Usually my lines have always just stayed, like, once they get dark, they get dark. Unless I just didn't test as much as I did. I was just like, okay, I'm pregnant, I'm not gonna test. It's probably why. And I like convinced myself that it was twins, because I was like, why is my HCG so high that I'm like, the dye is stealing from the control line. But yeah, so we then went into our appointment. It was just one baby. And at that point, when we went to my appointment, we were convinced that we had conceived the week before I sprained my ankles. Or that week I sprained my ankles. Like, I think it was like a Monday and a Tuesday, and then I sprained my ankles that following Saturday. So we were convinced that that's when I like conceived this baby. And so when we went into the ultrasound, like I said, my period was all like messed up. I never got a period in June. And so when I went in there, I said, this is the time that we did it. That I remembered at that point. And I said, you know, I remember it was supposed to be 2 days before my period, and that period never showed up. And we were expecting to see like an 8-week baby. Yeah, like an 8-week baby. And when she did the ultrasound on my belly, they couldn't really see anything. So I'm like, what? And so then she did like the vaginal ultrasound, and there was a little 6-week baby with a heartbeat. I believe the heartbeat was like 123, 124. And we went back to the doctor, like back to the room, and she said, well, based on the ultrasound, this is the week you conceived. Which then it clicked into me and Gage's head, like, oh yeah, I remember after you sprained your ankle, it was kind of like a rest week. We kind of just like didn't do anything that week because my ankles, and then the following week it was like, okay, you're feeling better. And that's when we were like, okay, no more of this. Like, we unprotected, no pull out. That's when the baby was conceived. That one time. Oh my goodness, it's still crazy to think. But yeah, so that's why I was like a little confused, and I told the doctor that at first before we remembered. I was like, are you sure? And that's why she sent us, and that's why we're having another ultrasound, was to make sure baby was growing. But now we know, like, okay, baby was conceived that week. And yeah, so I am now 9 weeks and 4 days. When we went into that private ultrasound, I was 9 weeks 1 day, and baby was measuring 9 weeks 3 days. So yeah, that's the whole story of finding out I was pregnant. And this is a really long video, so that was just the only question I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do a completely separate video, answering all of the other questions. The main question I got, did I ever get my period in June? No, I did not. So what I'm assuming happened was I completely skipped that June period that was supposed to be at the beginning of June and ovulated right in the middle 2 weeks later, like it would have been if I would have had a period, I'm pretty sure. Ovulated 2 weeks later, didn't realize I was ovulating, still thought my period was like 2 days late because I was under so much stress. My ankles were sprained, it was just so much going on. So yeah, ovulated 2 weeks later. So I missed a period, ovulated late, 2 weeks late. I'm not 100% sure, so, but that's my only guess. I'm actually gonna end this vlog and film another one and answer all of the other questions. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a story similar to mine, let me know. So I just want to put out there, I had some comments and messages saying maybe you shouldn't do natural family planning if it's not working for you. It works for us, but when you have unprotected, no pullout, and you're gonna get pregnant. Just saying. Pullout has always worked for us. This was obviously not pullout. If you don't pull out, you're probably gonna get pregnant. Anyways, so I'm gonna end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you in our next vlog. Bye.